High school was mostly a calm experience for me, but one teacher turned it into a nightmare. Over a decade ago, I was the quiet and attentive type in class. Teachers generally liked me, and though I wasn't particularly popular, I had a good circle of friends. My time in high school was filled with sports, working on the student newspaper, and maintaining decent grades. However, everything changed in my second semester of junior year. I've always been an avid reader. My freshman English teacher noticed this and suggested I move up to the honors English track. I followed this advice for my freshman, sophomore, and the first half of my junior year without any issues. Then came classical literature in the second semester of junior year. I was excited because I loved Greek and Roman stories and had already read many classical works on my own. But my excitement quickly turned to dread when I met Ms. Umbridge. Miss Umbridge seemed sweet on the surface, but she was anything but. For reasons unknown to me, she decided she hated me from the start. Perhaps it was because I sometimes nodded off in class. At that time, I had undiagnosed thyroid issues and was waking up at 5 a.m. for swim practice, which occasionally caused me to doze off in class. Although this happened maybe twice a month across all my classes, I don't recall ever nodding off in hers. Regardless, her class was 50% essays and written reports, with the rest comprising random quizzes and a couple of tests. Being on the student newspaper and considering myself a decent writer, I wasn't worried about maintaining a B grade or higher. That confidence quickly shattered. Our first paper was assigned, and I was stunned to receive a D. I had never struggled this much, not even in chemistry, where my lowest grade had been a C. After class, I approached Ms. Umbridge to ask what I had done wrong since her notes were minimal. She told me my assessment of the material was uninspired and suggested I see her during study hall for further explanation. Expecting some constructive feedback, I got a pass for study hall and met with her. Instead of helping me, she spent the entire hour belittling me, making me feel like an idiot. I left her office in tears, feeling utterly defeated. My friend, who would eventually become our class valedictorian, offered to help with my next paper. We spent hours working on it together. Given her track record of never scoring below an A-, I felt hopeful. But when I received the paper back, it was another D. My friend was furious and took the paper to her AP English teacher, pretending it was for a writing competition. He praised it as A+ work. My friend, sensing something was off, then showed him my original paper, which he also rated highly, saying it deserved an A-. Convinced that Ms. Umbridge had a personal vendetta against me, my friend urged me to talk to my parents or school counselor. I couldn't believe a teacher disliked me so much, so I decided to try one more time, this time seeking Ms. Umbridge's help directly. I went to her office 3 times during study hall before the next paper was due. Each time, she reviewed my paper and gave me tips on revising it and marking it up with red ink. Despite following her advice closely, I got another D+. She smirked and congratulated me on my improvement. That was the last straw. My friend was right, Ms. Umbridge had it out for me. Determined to prove her wrong, I took my paper to my newspaper teacher, who was known for his award-winning student paper. He agreed to review it and said it was great, suggesting a few minor changes and assuring me it deserved an A. Armed with this validation, my friend and I brainstormed a plan. Since requesting a class change wasn't common unless recommended by a teacher, we decided to leverage the athletic department. The athletics director, a friend of my dad, arranged a meeting with my swim coach. I explained my predicament, showing them my papers and the unfair grades. They were puzzled and agreed the grades didn't reflect the quality of the work. The student VP got involved and called in both my friend's AP English teacher and my newspaper teacher to grade the papers. They both gave high marks, reinforcing the unfair treatment I was receiving. My dad, furious, demanded a meeting with Ms. Umbridge, the VP, and the athletics director to address the issue. The following morning, before school, we all met. Ms. Umbridge seemed ready to berate me in front of everyone. She suggested I be moved to a non-honors class, claiming I lacked the aptitude for classical literature. My dad was livid. The VP asked why she hadn't helped me improve, to which she replied that it was up to the student to take the initiative. The VP then presented the 3 revised papers with her red ink, proving I had sought her help multiple times. Ms. Umbridge denied they were her notes, leading to a heated argument. Eventually, it was decided I would be moved to a basic English class, with my new teacher grading me only on future assignments. My new teacher, Ms. Honey, was the head of the English department and a seasoned educator. Her class was significantly easier than honors, but I worked hard to prove myself. I even tutored a struggling classmate, helping her improve from a C- to a B+. By the end of the semester, I had a 104% in the class. Miss Honey recommended I return to honors English for my senior year, reassuring me that Miss Umbridge wouldn't be teaching anymore. Miss Honey explained that I was placed in her class to determine if Miss Umbridge's claims about me were true. Miss Honey confirmed I belonged in honors English and apologized if her class wasn't challenging enough. Overwhelmed with relief and validation, I cried. Senior year, I returned to honors English and tutored struggling students during study hall. To this day, I often think about that awful woman. My career revolves around writing, and her treatment left lasting scars on my self-confidence. I hope she never taught again, as she wreaked havoc on my self-esteem and likely did the same to others.